Hi there, I'm Alexis Rogers, and for the last couple of weeks on KARE 11 News at noon, we have been giving you really great ideas on how to spice up your holiday dinner table. I don't know about you, but my family, we love to get a good meal during the holidays, but sometimes you want to try something new. That's where Holidish comes into play. And our first guest of the series is none other than Chef Adam Randall, owner of Adam's Soul to Go. Woo! And if we had smell-o-vision, you all would be like just, and he's not even done yet. What's up, Chef Adam? How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
A lot better
now.
now.
I'm really glad to be here. Thank you. Yeah.
So many people are like, okay, what in the world am I going to make? And so we wanted to help people out with this Holidish, segment.
Sure, absolutely.
So thinking about Thanksgiving with a twist, what will we be making today?
So we're making cornbread stuffing. That's kind of the twist, being African American. A lot of families use bread dressing or bread stuffing. We do cornbread. And so that's kind of our twist. So I'm making cornbread stuffing, and then the added bonus to that is that I add crab meat to mine. So some people put oysters in, some people in Minnesota, a lot of people put wild rice in theirs.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's a very
I'm new here, so you got to teach me.
Popular thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Wild rice dressing is actually very, very good.
Okay.
The one thing you and I talked about a little bit was the difference between dressing and stuffing.
Yes.
The truth is there's no difference at all.
Oh.
Stuffing has to do with whether or not you're going to fill the turkey cavity with the dressing that you're going to make. It can be a little bit, for lack of a better term, dangerous, because if you don't get that stuffing to the right internal temperature, which is 165 degrees or hotter, you can kind of get people sick. So I avoid that. I don't stuff the turkey. I make dressing instead.
Same with my family. So,
right.
okay, what do we have?
So this is what we got. We've got a little bit of butter in this saute pan, and I have sauteed bell peppers and onions and bell peppers, onions, and carrots. And then I'm adding a little bit of sage to this. I add sage while it's sauteing so that the oils in the sage can activate. And it kind of, you immediately smell that
from
sage.
the door. We have more people walking into the studio right now because what you just did.
It pops in. So I've done that. I've sauteed this, and then I'm going to add this to my cornbread. This cornbread was made yesterday.
Okay.
It was left out at room temperature so that it gets stale. Quite honestly, I don't know why it's supposed to be stale, but my mom said that's what you're supposed to do,
so that's what it's
I'm
gonna
following the directions. That's just the way that goes, okay? So then I'm gonna add this to my cornbread, and then we're going to add the other ingredients. We're gonna put a little fresh parsley in there. We're gonna tap in 3 eggs real quickly.
Look at that, one-handed.
So here's another trick. A lot of people, when they crack eggs, they want to do it on the edge of a pan. That tends to make the egg shard and you get chunks. If you use a flat surface, you're better off. You're less likely to get those eggshells in there. Okay? So we've got it. We're going to mix that through now. And then we're going to add a little bit of thyme, dried thyme. Thyme pulls out the flavor, believe it or not, of the sage. And then I'm gonna add more sage. A lot of people like a lot of sage. I want you to be able to taste everything. And so we're not going to go crazy with that. And then the last 2 more ingredients. We're gonna do chicken stock. I buy bone stock or I make stock. And so this dressing, you want it to be wet, but not soupy. Okay? So we're getting there, maybe a little bit more. Gonna put a little more in. That's about 2 cups roughly. And it was 8 cups of cornbread. Okay?
Ooh, it's starting to look like what I need to look like.
When I look at this, I don't see enough sage, and so I'm going to, this kind of cooking for me is my ancestors telling me a little bit more, a little bit less, salt and pepper. That's it, all right? So that is the dressing, and then the pièce de résistance is lump crab meat, and we're gonna be really careful when we fold this in so as to not break it up too much, because we want people to be able to see that crab meat that's in there.
And just like that, I know our time is winding down.
Sure.
This looks so good.
Sure.
Is this about what we need?
This is what we need, and through the magic of television,
yes, please.
we have a pan already made.
Yes.
Nice and hot. So again, one of the other things that you want to do, a lot of times when you're cooking Thanksgiving, there are items that actually taste better the next day.
Yes.
And so when
this is one of them.
when you make your stuffing, make it the day before, but don't bake it. So make it, put it in the refrigerator, let everything marry, let it just join together, and then the day of, then bake it.
I'm so
Goes
excited
in
to
the oven
dig
for about
into
an
this.
hour and a half, and then you're good to go.
And of course, you can check out Adam's Soul to Go inside the Potluck Food Hall at Rosedale Center or at adamsoul2go.com. Thank you so much. We are back in the kitchen, and that means another challah dish recipe for you to get ready for your holiday. And we're joined by award-winning author and chef Amalia Moreno Damgard, who has been working really hard over here. We have so many people who are like, do you smell that coming from the studio? Today's focus is all about side dishes, and we've got a few here, but we're really going to be focusing on dobladas, right?
Yes.
Yes, and which, okay, tell us a little bit about where that dish comes from and what it is.
Dobladas is a dish from Guatemala, and doblar means to fold, and it's basically corn tortillas stuffed with black beans and cheese and topped with a chirmol salsa, which is made of tomatoes and onions. It's a sofrito, fried in canola oil.
Ooh.
It's very, very simple,
let's
and it's
try
very,
it.
very delicious, garnished with parsley.
Okay, so let's get into it because I really want to know how to make this. All right.
So we have the black beans and we have the tortilla, and we want to make the tortilla flexible by heating it up prior to this so that they don't crack. And basically, once you have the black beans, and they can be refried beans, you fold it. You can leave it like this. You can heat it up. You can brush it with oil if you want, but you don't need to. And then we put together the sauce by sauteing the ingredients in canola oil. So I have canola oil, onion, tomato, and we season it with salt and pepper. If you want to make it spicy, we can chop some jalapeno peppers or any kind of spicy pepper that you want, and this is what you end up with.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And you didn't stop there. I mean, you have other options here too. What else did you bring?
So this is inspiration for the holidays and for Thanksgiving. This is an Ecuadorian style ceviche, which is shrimp in a citrus tomato sauce with cilantro and red onion and some plantain chips, and then a little bit of corn, toasted corn. And over here I have a simple salad made with quail eggs and garbanzo beans and also tomatoes and bell peppers, a little bit of greens in there to make it festive, and a simple vinaigrette made with garlic and sherry vinegar.
Okay.
And over here I have a very easy dessert that is very festive and very easy to make as well. Sliced bananas and strawberries. And what's different and unique here is the crema, which is made with Latin cream mixed with mascarpone cheese. And then I added some honey and some almond extract, and then I top it off with chopped pistachios.
Literally, I want to eat with my eyes and my mouth. I'm going to try some of this ceviche because
Yes, of
I
course.
love ceviche. You know, you have so many different styles in your cooking. What do you take the most pride in, and what can other people really learn by at least going out and trying this?
You know, I like to feed people what I feed my family at home. And these are some of the things that I make for the holidays, but ceviche can be a meal in itself.
It sure can, my friend.
This can be sides, and they can be appetizers as well. I love anything that is easy and practical and nutritious and healthy. And all this is that. Also, it's gluten-free, and you can make this vegetarian. We can make it vegan. Certainly, if you leave the cheese out of the dobladas, that makes it vegan. And so, in Latin cuisine, we have many dishes that are naturally vegan and or gluten-free.
I love, first of all, this just transported me on vacation. We can't let you go. I'm not going to let her go. Of course, you can find the recipe for these dobladas and dobladas at KARE11.com/noon. And I'm going to try some of these, so I might have to call my friend Ben, because I know he's going to be jealous if I try it without him. Of course, you can also learn more about Amalia from her Instagram at Amalia Moreno Damgard. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you packed your appetite, whether it's a casserole or a pie. Sweet potatoes are a Thanksgiving staple for many of us. I know in my household it definitely is, but nobody knows more about them than their underlying power than today's Holidish guest. I'm talking about Rose McGee in the house, and you have brought us some amazing pie today representing a big mission. Now, you created an entire organization around sweet potato pies. What's the mission?
Oh, well, it's called Sweet Potato Comfort Pie, and we consider it to be a catalyst for caring and building community.
I love that is our middle name. I love it. And how did you start it all?
Well, it began in 2014, sadly, after the murder of young Michael Brown in Ferguson. And I just felt compelled to do something. We had just finished, watching that agonizing trial involving the murder of Trayvon Martin. And for some reason, my spirit was just saying, do something. And I baked about 30 sweet potato pies and put them in the trunk of my car and drove down there.
All the way to Missouri?
Yeah.
Wow.
And since then, we've been making pies and delivering them all across the country when we can. And during COVID, when we couldn't get out, I started going online and inviting people to join me to make pies. So it just started spreading on its own, and they use the recipe. I don't consider the recipe to be a secret, The secret ingredient is really love. So when you taste it, make sure it's tasting the way you want it to taste and put it out there. But people went online and they were making those pies, and the recipe makes 2.
Okay.
So give one to somebody out there that you care about, that you want to show some love to. You were talking about that earlier.
Yes, in my family, if you get a sweet potato pie, that means that we really love you. So let's get into how we make this, because so many people are a little stingy with their sweet potato pie recipes. So we thank you for being able to share with us. What do we start with?
Well, first we got to start with some really good looking potatoes.
Ooh.
And aren't these pretty?
Those are very
See
pretty.
how-
I like the color.
Yep, the color is good, which means the flavor is going to be good, and they're rich in that kind of thing. And we know that sweet potatoes are healthy for us, right?
Yes.
So we're starting with a good, fresh, healthy ingredient. People will say, well, what about canned potatoes? Well, you can if you want to.
Right. Not in our household. We have to pick them. Okay,
Yeah.
so we pick the good ones, then what happens?
And then if you want to bake them, you can, or boil them. These have been boiled. That tends to be how I do.
Same.
But bake them and boil them with the skin on.
Okay.
And that way, all you got to do is that. See how easy that is to pull off?
This is the fun part.
Rather than all of that peeling that you would be doing.
This was my job in my grandma's kitchen. She like, look, you know what to do. You see the boiled potato, do it.
Peel it. And then make sure you get those little dark things off. They're little prickly eyelets, that they're called. You want to get those off, make sure. And then you put them in your mixer. We're not going to do it today because of time, but you would put them all, if you're, blessed enough to have a stand-up mixer like
Yes.
this, when you finish making your batter, a lot of gook is going to be hanging in there. Do not shake that in there. No. Some people think that they're supposed to because,
Yes.
if you're making cookies or cake or something,
wanna
you
use it
can
all.
do that.
Yes.
But with this, it's collected the strings. So if you were to put that in your baking thing, when you bite into your pie, guess what you're going to bite into? A nice blob of something. So that's
you.
one thing that's really good.
Okay.
So
We have
follow
about
the
30
recipe.
more seconds.
Oh, follow the recipe, put this in 30 seconds.
I know, we've been having so much fun.
So the sugar, the white sugar, the brown sugar, the mixed spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger. And you gotta have pure vanilla, pure lemon, and these eggs, make sure you've got some good eggs, and condensed milk. Now this is the real rich one, right? But if you're lactose intolerant, then you substitute those things with dairy-free products.
Yes.
Yep, and gluten-free. And that's what it looks like when it's made, and you're gonna pour it into there.
This is a big job right here, and
Yes,
you're even
it
gonna help me
is.
make this pretty as well.
Yep, just pour, pour, pour.
There we go.
You can just dump it on
You know,
in
my
there.
good friend Ben really likes good food, and I'm telling him that we're going to do some really fun things with this. Now, of course, you're going to learn more from Rose at sweetpotatocomfortpie.org. Also, we'll have the recipe on our website at care11.com/noon. Hi there, and welcome back for today's Holidish recipe. Not only are we getting a preview taste of Thanksgiving, but we're also getting a preview of one of the newest restaurants coming to town. We want to introduce you to Chef Michael Shaughnessy. Michael, thank you so much for being here. You are actually going to be opening up a new restaurant called Pink Ivy Kitchen and Bar in Hopkins, downtown Hopkins, yes?
Yep, right on 7th and Main Street.
Are you so excited?
We're so excited.
What are you
Yeah.
all about?
So right now, Pink Ivy Kitchen and Bar, we're about seasonal ingredients, globally inspired food, kind of shows tribute to the travels and my experience as a chef of over 25 years. Just kind of love doing a bunch of different food like mussels and crab and lamb and, you know, some vegetable focused dishes. It'll be fun.
You must not want me to go home. You just want me to stay with you all.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then you even love us enough to help us make a little something to make our holiday that much better. We got a chance to try your food, but we also need to try what we're gonna make. So what are we making today?
So we're doing like a kind of a lighter side. You know, Thanksgiving is all about those heavier kind of sides. Sometimes you just want to lighten it up a little bit, make something easy. This is one of those things we can do. So it's going to be like a roasted carrot and squash salad. You can roast the vegetables ahead of time before you even put the turkey in the oven. So it'll be nice and easy. And we toss that with the orange cranberry vinaigrette, a little bit of blood orange, goat cheese, and pistachio.
All the ingredients.
Yeah,
Okay, so what should we make first?
Let's do the vinaigrette. It's a kind of a simple vinaigrette. Start with a little bit of red onion. You know, most chefs love to do a little Dijon, kind of help bind it all together.
Spice it up
so
a little
red
bit.
onion, Dijon, lots of ginger. We all love ginger. Goes really well.
And it's good for your digestive system.
It's so good for you.
You
so-
need that on Thanksgiving.
Yep. So a little ginger on the microplane, some fresh orange. Just kind of squeeze that in there, get it all nice and
You
juicy.
made that look so easy.
Yeah, look at that.
It smells so good.
Yeah, a little bit of cranberries that we just soaked in water. So it's gonna kind of be like a nice bright dressing. Little apple cider vinaigrette. Goes right in. And then you just want to get a little bit of salt in there just to kind of wake it up. And then then you just kind of start with that. You just mix it up like that. You could do this in the blender, or you could just do it by hand. And then you'll slowly just do your oil. You know, typical recipes are 3 parts oil, 1 part acid. That's kind of what we're doing here.
This smells delicious.
Yeah, so
I
it's-
wish we had smell-o-vision. It smells so good.
Yeah, so that's your vinaigrette. And then so we just roasted off the vegetables. So we just toss those with a little bit of maple syrup, olive oil, salt and pepper, kind of get those fall feels going on. And then, like I said, you could just roast those off ahead of time. Top your salad with a little bit of arugula, some roasted veggies, the carrots. And then this is our dressing that we put in the blender. Top it off there, a little bit over the top. And then I love using blood oranges this time of year.
Yes.
Nice and bright. Got that nice citrus pop for you.
You have to make sure that you have something colorful on your
Yeah,
table.
absolutely.
This looks so good. And then what else? Oh,
I
you're
love
still
goat
adding
cheese.
things.
Yeah, I love a little
Yes.
goat cheese. Why
Okay.
not? Any kind of cheese would be good. You could do feta cheese. You could do Parmesan, whatever you have in your fridge. A little bit of pistachio or any sort of nut that you like. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Here's the thing. I am going to try this right here. Pink Ivy is set to open on Main Street in Hopkins in spring of 2024. This is not your first go around either, being a business owner.
No, me and my wife, we opened up at Vellum a couple years ago in the market at Malcolm Yards, and so this is kind of that was our springboard to having our own spot. And so that's,
we
that's
we
where
love
we're
to
at.
see people grow. Congratulations.
you.
And you know what? We have a salad club here. I think I'm going to have to just try to do what I can. You can find all of our recent recipes for Holidish on KARE11.com/noon. Michael, thank you so much for joining
you.
us. Oh, I know you've been waiting. Welcome back. Yesterday, we talked with the chef of a new restaurant coming into town, and today we're getting a twist on the traditional holiday meal from the owner of a restaurant that has been around these parts for almost 50 years. That's a long time. We are so honored to have Patty Keegan from Giacchino's Pizza and Pasta on the show. And if there's anyone who knows about cooking with this family, it's this one right here. It's my new friend, Patty. This restaurant has been in your family for generations, yes?
Yes. We've been since 1975.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stories. That's a lot of secrets.
That is a lot of secrets. So yeah, don't ask me.
I love it so much. You know, honestly, I love pasta. And we don't always think of pasta like lasagna for the holidays. So I think you're about to change our minds. What are we making today?
Yeah, so we are making our meat lasagna, and you know, this could be something that you just have in your freezer before the night of Thanksgiving. You could have it the night of. You could do your choice of meat in here. So if you wanted to switch it up and do like a ground turkey, you could do that, or save it till Saturday night when you're done with leftovers, family's still in town. You know, then you've got another choice. We also have our our frozen pub pizzas, that would be an excellent choice for that.
I really appreciate one that your sauce has a lot in it because some people don't realize that is like, that's the thing that makes it wonderful.
That's the thing, and we have a separate lasagna sauce than our other sauces. So we have a pizza sauce, we have a pasta sauce, and we have a lasagna sauce.
Ooh, I like this.
So it needs to be thicker in order to hold up the layers.
So with our layer, because you are doing this layer so wonderfully.
Thank
so
you.
you put your noodle down.
Yep. So you start with a little something in the bottom of the pan. I forgot the oil, so I put a little sauce.
Got you.
So then you put your sheet down, and then you're just going to start your layering. So we put the sheet. We started with our sauce with our meat in it, and then we move on to the ricotta cheese.
That's one of my favorite parts.
So you can put that in there. And then we move on then to the Romano cheese.
And while you do this, you all have such a cool story with this restaurant. So how did the restaurant get started in the first place?
So our parents opened it, like you said, in 1975 and have been on the corner of 36th and Chicago and South Minneapolis ever since. And one of my sisters and I, we bought it from them about 25 years ago, did a renovation, brought in beer and wine. We started the wholesale division and getting more product out there and more choices for people. And we're continue to expand and dedicate ourselves to the neighborhood because we're not going anywhere.
Yes.
So we're going to expand and add more beer and wine choices, have an extended bar area. But again, our wholesale division is really booming. So we're in co-ops, local co-ops. We're
cool.
in Bobby and Steve's Auto World with our frozen pizzas. We're at the Wedge with our sauce. So yeah, but and then also what we want is for people to be able to order cold dishes, unbaked,
Yes.
that then they could keep in their freezer for the unexpected visitors or just for themselves.
So how many layers do you put on this?
So we would do 4 layers.
Okay.
Yep, and you want to make sure that you're patting it down to make sure that it's nice and nice and compact.
Yes.
So like this is what it would end up being. So this is
Okay.
a slice that we would have at the restaurant, so you can see the layers there. But otherwise, this dish will end up that size, and then when it's baked,
My
it's right
friend,
there.
did you call this a slice?
That is a slice.
My
yes.
friend, you want me to take a nap after this. This is, in my family, we would say this is the type of food that gives you the itis. You just got to go ahead and just lay it out. I love this so much. And how long would you put that into the oven?
It's going to need about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yep, you're going to want to thaw it out before you do it. And but yeah, it won't take too long at all.
There's a lot of family chefs out there right now that are like, yes, you thought of me. This is what I need. And of course, you all can check out Jacquino's 7 days a week. It's on Chicago Ave and East 36th Street. My friends, we are back in the kitchen today and we are making desserts, and we know that you'll like it because it's one of the most searched options in the state. I have Maggie Lyon here from Pillsbury. In fact, she's the recipe development consultant for General Mills, so it has to be good. What a fun job.
Yes.
Like 4-year-old or 5-year-old you is probably looking at you now and like, you know what, I am
Yes.
pretty dope.
It's a winner.
I love it so much. Who says we can't start with dessert? That's what a lot of people's minds go to. And actually, you guys have done a lot of research, ahead of Thanksgiving to understand, a couple things. What did you learn?
So we have looked at the searches of the past few Thanksgivings, like all across the country, and we found which states searched for which recipes the most. And Minnesota liked this bad boy. This is our creamy pumpkin spice bars.
Ooh.
And so we're going to show these to you guys today. We're going to walk you through the process. Should we jump right in? Or?
Yeah, let's jump right in and we'll chat while we
Okay.
do it. So what are we starting with?
Okay, so we're gonna use our cookie dough that you're probably familiar with. This is the sugar cookie dough. We're gonna drop it right in our 13 by 9 pan.
Okay.
And then we just press it right in.
You can smell it literally
easy.
the moment that you put it out.
Yes, yeah. And it's so easy. And basically what we're gonna do is after we press this in, this is gonna bake for a few minutes in the oven, about 15, 18 minutes.
Okay.
And then you take it out, and then we're going to add a mixture of pureed pumpkin and sugar, some beaten eggs, a little, this is the weird one, chai tea reduction.
Oh, okay.
So that has
I didn't
all
even know
those.
that was a thing.
It is, and you can buy it. It looks like a package of stock, like
Okay.
it's in one of those Tetra Packs at the grocery
Yes.
store. Any grocery store has it. So that's what this looks like. You
Look at
press that
that.
in, super easy. So bake that off. And then we're gonna put this stuff in. Can we look at our ingredients?
Absolutely.
here?
So we were showing them a little bit. So okay, now what do we have?
So this is our pumpkin. That's our chai tea, and then we're adding some heavy cream, the eggs, some sugar, and salt. That is it.
Okay.
All right. So after that bakes off, we're going to put that mixture in here on top of that. Bake that off. It comes out of the oven and has to cool for a few minutes.
Okay.
And then after it's completely cool, we whip the rest of our heavy cream with a little bit more of that chai tea, and then that goes on top.
So don't be too eager. Make sure that
No,
you wait
gotta,
for a second.
You gotta chill it. You gotta chill.
Whenever I bake, I'm always too eager. I always have to tell
it's a
myself,
thing.
Alexis, just wait for a second.
Yeah, and
That
then
looks
this.
nice and fluffy.
Yes, and then you can pop it in the freezer for a few minutes if you want to get nice clean lines like we have over here.
Ooh, we like clean lines.
Or you can just wait for it to chill for at least an hour.
Okay. What I love about this is it really isn't a
It's so
terrible
simple.
amount of work. And
No,
it looks
it's so easy.
good.
It's so easy. It's like
Yes.
7 ingredients, 15 minutes of like active work, and then you get these beautiful pumpkin bars that honestly are like
Very
a
good.
fun riff on
And-
like the traditional pumpkin bars.
You love me enough to actually have one prepared.
We
Can you
did.
toss that over to me?
Yes.
Because I need to understand what's
there.
going
Yeah.
on. So this is what we have right here.
Yeah,
I'm going to
so
take
we
a
got-
bite before Ben because usually I wait for Ben.
Oh,
and then
don't.
also I heard that you guys have a fun surprise coming up for the parade, the Macy's Day Parade.
Oh, can I just tell you, this boy is ready to show off. We have, is it good? We're debuting a new Pillsbury Doughboy at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade
Yes.
this year. So after you make your Thanksgiving Pillsbury recipe, whatever your favorite Thanksgiving recipe from Pillsbury is, please make it and then tune in to the parade to see our new Doughboy.
And you'll actually be watching the parade right here
Oh.
on KARE 11.